last speaker in this final round, just like to take an opportunity to thank everybody once again. Thank you to the adjudicators for coming and judging on the appreciate it. Thank you for providing great flash. Thank my partner for arguments, and again, thank the peanut gallery. Really appreciate it. With that, I'd just like to get down into these these voting issues. The first voting issue I have is the idea of the resolutional context. I'm just going to take a step back and just show you kind of what the opposition has been arguing and what we've been saying throughout the entire case. So if we look back up at my first argument under this is looking at the definitions in this round. This house was the UT MPDA debaters, and Drop It Like It's Hot was celebrate what your mama gave you. And I define this as being your voice, your communication skills. Now, the leader of opposition speaker got up in his last speech, and he says he doesn't see how dropping it like it's hot, dropping sports, is really a good thing. However, if you look back to our arguments and you look back to the start of our case, we never talked about dropping sports at all. What we talked about was the UT people actually standing up and celebrating their unique skills and their unique talents. When you look at my background information, I specifically looked at how celebrating was not dropping something like it was bad, but celebrating something that was good. And this was never addressed or responded to. What we see is we've been arguing two different things. And I would contend that it's not mutually exclusive to say that you can value the debate team and you can also value sports at the same time. It's not necessary to drop sports just for the sake of the debate team. So the impact of this is that you take away their disadvantages about the school losing money, about sports no longer being able to bring people together, because I feel like you can have camaraderie both in the sports arena and you can have camaraderie on the debate team. Yes, so maybe there's not as many students doing debate during football season because it takes up their Saturdays, but that does not mean that they cannot be in the debate team in the spring when the basketball games are throughout the week. I don't see that as being a problem. There is no reason to believe that you can't do both. You can do both and communication can still happen. Now the second voting issue I have under this is looking at the significance of the harms. Now, under the harms, I said that right now in the current system, students are valuing sports over debate. And what I contended is that these students can take their skills that they're using in the sports arena as fans and they can use them in an intellectual context. We feel like this is a harm, and with increased interest, you can have this ability so that you can cheer as fans, and you also can do the same thing. You also can use it in an intellectual contest. I'm probably the loudest person on Bryan College campus, but that does not mean that I'm giving up something by also doing debate. I can do debate and still be a loud, belligerent fan at times at the same time. So this is not something that takes that away. Looking at harm number 2, about how the college values sports over debate. I would contend that the college should move from valuing sports over debate to valuing sports and debate. It's not necessary to say that the college is going to value debate over sports. We're not saying that at all. What we're saying is that the college should value them both. It shouldn't say, okay, you're having a tournament, but we're just going to ignore that and we're going to charge a parking fee like you were coming to the game. No, what it should do, it should be able to work with both and move towards the system. It should value one and the other. You shouldn't cancel the game that's happening today simply because there's a debate tournament going on, but at the same time you should be able to work with that's actually happening. Now the third voting issue I have under this is looking at the solvency, and we can look at the drop solvency points that were dropped throughout the first and second speech. The fact that increased awareness will actually increase the interest of the debate team. The fact that people follow movements in the current system, and with a movement you can create better interest, and this will set a precedent for other colleges, which will be a good thing. All of this was never responded to. So whereas they contended in the member of opposition speech that we had no solvency, they didn't address the solvency points that we had, that this would actually work towards being a good thing, that this would actually work towards being a movement that could have some teeth and have an effect on the system. Thus, if we have the solvency, if we have the problems in the current system, and we have the solvency, we have to look at the idea of net benefits and look down to our advantages. If we have no disadvantage because of the fact that we're not moving away from sports, what we have to look at is the advantages that still stand in this case. The fact that we have more student interest, the fact that UT debaters will now have more student interest, and thus you can have a more viable program because of the fact that you have more students. Because of the fact that now the college will be able to recognize and look and have to recognize the fact that they should value something intellectual as well as valuing sports, and they should be able to use resources in that way to get a coach, to get scholarships, and to move in that direction. Not just for UT debaters, but for debaters who are in all student-run organizations around the around the country. So when we started off with this topic about drop it like it's hot, yes, we did open with a funny, silly analogy, but we still also do feel like this is a significant issue, and we feel like insolvency can come through our case. So it's for all these reasons I strongly urge you to stand with us and cast a government ballot. Thank you very much.